Alright, and we're good. We are good. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is ShyRox1998, but you can all just call me Matt. Welcome back to some more West of Loathing. Let me just try to pull this fucking thing up.
Wait, you were cutting out there. Was your mic peaking? Anyways, how about you over here?
It was probably just Discord.
Yeah, definitely Discord.
Probably.
Also, hello everyone. The duck
Goodbye,
is still
Discord.
here.
Next up is on the 3rd floor. This creepy little bitch. Hi, my name's Matthew. Can I join your tea party? If you want, I guess, but it's a terrible tea party. Well, what's wrong? You aren't having any fun? All I have is dumb made-up tea. I want a proper tea party, like Mama took me to. Tell me more. We went to a real tea room. It was so pretty. There were vases with flowers in them. Everyone was all dressed up in suits and pretty dresses, and there were white china teacups for the tea. Real tea, not imaginary. Well, that sounds very nice. It was! I was so nice, and everyone was so polite and charming and elegant. Well, until the fight started anyway. Oh, there was a fight? Two of the gentlemen there got into an argument. I don't know what it was about, but I guess one said something the other didn't like, and he was so insulted he threw his tea right in the first man's face. And then they took out guns and started shooting at each other right there in the tea room. Whoa. They were still really elegant, though. They had little silver and ivory pistols, and they kept their pinkies out the whole time.
Huh.
Anyway, I don't remember the rest very well, except one of them missed the other and shot me by mistake. I am so sorry. Thanks, but it's alright. Heaven's supposed to be really nice, so I guess I don't mind so much. But I didn't get to finish my tea party, so I want to have another one before I go. Except you don't have any tea, and make-believe tea isn't fun anymore. Okay, I'll find some actual tea for you.
Is that Chucky doll or some shit? I see a creepy-ass doll in the 3rd seat.
Don't worry about it.
I'm worrying about it.
Alright,
Don't worry about it.
We got the leaves, and we got to...
I think you got the tea kettle with leaves in it, so
Yeah, I've got
you know.
I've got the kettle.
Yeah.
Tea service with tea.
But the problem is she can't drink it now because she's a ghost.
Alright, real quick, we're just gonna head to the music room.
Right?
Just a real quick thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Spooky lullaby.
Sure did. Here you go. Oh, that's wonderful! Thank you! She serves the tea, and the 4 of you, okay, well, not the doll, sip it with your pinkies extended in genteel fashion. Then, with a giggle and a wave, she fades away.
Oh, that's
Thank
cute.
God. I thought that would never be over. Look at me, I'm shaking like a leaf. Kind of a freaky situation, right? Having to deal with little kids freaks me out bad enough. Having to interact with the ghost of one is horrifying. Anyway, thanks for the rescue. I need to get back to work. What do you do here? I run the candy counter in the visitor center. Oh.
Well, now that explains why he's so scared of kids. Little rabid gremlins when it comes to candy.
You're not wrong.
Let's play the lullaby.
Are you trying to put him to sleep?
Not exactly.
I mean, slow down.
He just wants he wants to hear a song that he can't remember.
Aww.
And that was
You
it.
didn't bother talking to him. It just happened.
That was all we needed to do. Buddy,
Neat.
stop that.
I mean, honestly, I thought I was going to the past for a moment when this first happened. I was like, what the fuck? They
So
might
what's
the
left
visitor
now?
center.
Nyeh, 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 nyeh.
Yeah, let's get inside.
3rd floor. Hold on. Actually, no. 2nd floor. I just remembered I got a book I want to put back.
Mm-hmm.
It said dueling banjos, but, there we go. Get an item. Duel law. Nice. That makes sense.
At least with the books here, you're polite enough to put them back on the shelves.
Alright, into Mr. Gunn's room. Furthest door to the right.
The spittoon.
Is it? Oh boy. Oh yeah. Come to Papa. What are you doing? Huh? Nothing. What are you doing? Looking at someone who's kneeling next to a spittoon with the apparent intention of sticking his whole entire face inside it.
Get in there!
Jam your hand into the spittoon, up to the shoulder, and find nothing. The brass bucket is shiny and clean, outside and in, clean as the day it was born. Museum staff must have washed it. It looks brand new. Are you crying? No, I'm fine! You're crying! Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay, well, I'll just be over here whenever you're done lying on the ground in a fetal position and hugging a spittoon. You get a wobbly
Maybe I will
billiards
get
cue. Now I gotta go back.
You can see the sparkle on it.
Go back here. We straighten that bitch.
Yeah.
Oh god, that must be the worst state of that guy's of the character's life right now. Playing a clean spittoon.
Alright, up to the 2nd. No, the 3rd floor, actually. I just realized.
No, yeah, if you do this early on, it's like you don't have a certain fascination with those yet.
Alright. Grab the
He
chalk.
knows you will eventually.
Grab that chalk and back into here. Hey there, how's it going? I ain't interested in chit-chat, fella. Just billiards. Step up or shut up. Chalk up your cue and the ghost racks the balls. It's a close match. You have to consult that geometry book a few times just to work out all the angles. Game comes down to a fight for the 8-ball, and you barely manage to squeak out a win. When the ghost catches an unlucky bounce off the corner of a pocket. Well, shucks. Nice shooting, Tex. He flips you a finger gun salute, winks, and fades into nothingness.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll just grab a ball.
Why not? Oh. This is inviting.
Boo! Ha ha ha! Pretty good I am to getting you, huh, human? Wow, yes, very much to getting me. What
Oh,
is...
yeah, wait, hang on.
Lord. Just a goblin head.
There's a goblin chilling in the...
Hi.
Chilling on that, plaque.
This ghost is dressed up as a traditional safari hunter, with the pith helmet and big white mustache and those weird khaki trousers that make it look like your butt has wings. He's inspecting Mr. Gunn's trophy collection, but doesn't seem particularly impressed. Hi, I'm Matthew Rami. Oh, charmed, I'm sure. Lord Euston Camdenton at your service. What happened to you, if you don't mind my asking? Not all, though it isn't a very exciting story, eh, what? I was hunting lions on the plains of the Serengeti, and one of the blighters got the better of me. Wow, you were eaten by a lion. That sounds pretty exciting to me. Yes, well, not eaten as such. Sneaky bugger crept into camp and pushed a stack of ammunition crates over on me. Oh. Maybe I can help you.
Oh.
Help me do what? Well, I'll help you with whatever's keeping you as a ghost. Though now that I say it, I guess there isn't much I can do to help you get revenge on that lion. Oh, no, it isn't revenge that's keeping me here. Good for that lion, I say. Turnabout is fair play and all that, eh, what? Though I do wish he'd done it in a manner that made for a better story. So why are you a ghost then? It's because of my one true regret. I never faced the most dangerous game. I am definitely not going to help you hunt people. What? No, the most dangerous board game. Nobody was ever willing to play against me. Body shame, eh, what? What's the game? He leads you over to a small table on which is laid out a board of alternating red and black squares with little wooden discs painted red and black as well. Checkers? The checkers jump and scatter as the ghost stabs 2 large hunting knives into the center of the board. Knife checkers.
Shit.
What are the rules? Do you know how to play checkers? Yes. Do you know how to stab someone in the hand with a knife? Yes? That's all you need to know, really. Alright, I'll play. You yank one of the knives out of the board, and Lord Houston instructs you to hold it left-handed. The rules are, you may only attack your opponent's hands, and only when they are over the board. Displaced checkers are played from where they land. But attacking the board directly is a foul, which awards the opponent a stab-free turn. Appears to be primarily a game of concentration, quick movements, and feinting. Play aggressive. Start out the game by attacking quickly and fiercely to establish dominance and keep your opponent from developing his pieces. The strategy is somewhat effective, but Lord Houston doesn't scare easily, and he manages to feint a few pieces past your guard. You enter the mid-game, more or less, evenly matched. Play intelligently.
Question, how are you stabbing his hand? He's a ghost.
In the mid-game, you focus more on the checkers than on your knife work, maneuvering in a position for some big gains in the long term. You suffer a few minor nicks and cuts, but are well positioned for the endgame. Play craftily. Lord Houston spots a hole in your defenses. He feints left, then quickly slides one of his pieces into the gap, and into your trap. This moves his hand into just the position you need to attack it with a hard downward stab. He easily yanks his hand out of the way, and your knife hits one of your pieces on its edge, flipping it across the board to land neatly in his back rank. King me. I say, it's a foul to attack the board! Sure, but I wasn't, was I? I attached your hand and you dodged. That's all. You sneaky blighter! Play continues, but with the king behind Lord Houston's lines, you clean up very quickly. Alright, lad, I concede. Marvelous play, eh, what? Well done! He gives you a smart salute and fades away into nothingness.
Yay!
Yeah, that was essentially just a skill check.
An insane one.
A skill
What the hell?
QTE.
There is 2 more ghosts to get rid of.
One, you can't get to the very end, if I'm correct.
No, we technically could.
Miss Gunn?
What the fuck?
Oh.
We could fight that, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not in the
Yeah, but
mood
why,
to.
though?
We can get some bowling pieces.
Let's deal
Oh,
with
no.
someone else then. This is gonna take a while.
Oh boy.
States. Hey buddy, what are you doing? Look, I'm 95% certain you're a real person, not a statue. What are you up to? I'm a statue, go away. Now I'm 99% sure. Go away! What's your name? Paul, go away! Hi Paul, I'm Matthew. What are you doing? I'm pretending to be a statue so the ghost won't get me. Go away, you'll blow my cover. I'll see what I can do. Objection! Huh? What are you objecting to? Your face! Overruled! What's your problem anyway? Bah! It's illegal stuff. You'd never understand. In fact, I think you'll find him quite conversant in the finer points of our justice system, particularly as it pertains to guns and gun-related activity. Horseradish, you're all trousers and no briefs. Oh yeah? Well, try me, smart lady. Fine. Obviously, you aren't going to leave me alone, so just ask your questions. I'm Matthew Rami, speaking for the record. State your name, occupation, course, and cause of death. Felicity Wainwright. Defense attorney, lost court-approved trial by combat. What? Trial by combat has been outlawed for like 15 years. You do understand ghosts don't visually age as time passes, right? Ah, right. So your client called for trial by combat, which meant you and the prosecutor had to face off in a duel. That's correct. And you lost. You acting dumb to try and throw me off guard? I withdraw the question. Why are you stuck as a ghost? Because although trial by combat was already well out of fashion at the time, it was still a valid legal recourse. Should have been prepared for the possibility, but I wasn't. My lack of training resulted in an innocent man being executed for murder. How was he executed? Hanging, I assume. Obviously, I wasn't around to see it. So to release you, I need to prove that the loss wasn't your fault. Trial duel was completely fair and above board. There is no chance of there having been foul play on the prosecutor's part. My loss was my own. Then I'd have to prove your client was actually guilty, and therefore your feelings of responsibility are misplaced. The look she gives you is hard and cold. Look, you think you know a thing or two about the law? How about you tell me the first rule of being a defense attorney?
The weird little hammer.
Don't refer to his gavel as a weird little hammer? You have to trust and believe in your client. If you don't believe your client is innocent, you'll never convince anyone else he is either. So if I want to convince you he was guilty, you'll have an uphill fight, fella. You're essentially playing prosecutor here.
Alright then.
Alright, tell him about the case. My defendant was Matthew Guilty McCready, accused of the
Hey, it's
murder
another Matt!
accused of the murder of Victor Vic Timsbury at noon on June 18th, 1878 in Reno. I have some questions. Go ahead. What was the cause of death? Timsbury was shot through the heart with a .45 caliber revolver. And did McCready own such a gun? Yes, he was holding it at the time, and subsequent examination shown it had been recently fired. Are you messing with me? Any further questions? I do have some questions, yeah. Go ahead. This is at noon precisely. Yes, confirmed by witnesses. Also, McCready owned a fancy pocket watch that chimed on the hours. There were witnesses? About half a dozen of them. Pretty sure it's something you aren't telling me. I'm not obligated to play my hand face up, Mr. Prosecutor. Okay then. Go ahead. Your client was
We're basically Edgeworth against Phoenix Wright.
Your client was actually named guilty. Come on. Names don't mean anything. I once had a client named Ike Ildeguy, and he was totally innocent. For someone's actual legal name, sure, but nicknames are usually given with some sort of basis. You've never met a really tall guy called Tiny, or a fat guy called Slim? Arguably, the nickname Guilty would reinforce my client's innocence. That's totally absurd, but I'll let it rest for now. Hang on a second. Shot with a pistol, in front of witnesses, at exactly noon? Was this a duel? So you can add 2 plus 2 after all. Well done. As luck would have it, I've just recently read a whole book about duel law. What? Why? No reason. Just happened across it in the library and thought it might be interesting. You read an entire code of law you found at random just for the heck of it? Yep.
Listen, if you have the tisms and you're bored as fuck, you have many reasons why you would read a book about law.
Let me just do a quick review. A duel is legal provided it's between exactly 2 people at a specific prearranged time and place, using the same or at least essentially similar weapons, and they have to either face each other down and quick draw at the appointed moment or do the 10 paces turn and fire routine. Is that right? That's the gist of it? Yes. So I guess let's start with you telling me the facts of the case, and I'll interrupt you rudely if I have any questions. Alright, but if you push me on trivial nonsense, I'll get mad and you'll have to start over. That seems fair.
This is literally Ace Attorney!
That seems fair. Go ahead. McCready and Timsbury got into an argument in a saloon on the evening of June 17th. Apparently, Timsbury accused McCready of cheating at poker. Go on. Bartender yelled to take it outside. Since it was dark out, they agreed to meet for a duel the next day. And that would be the 18th, you said. Yes, June 18th, 1878. I have a question. Did they set a specific time for the duel? Yes, high noon. Figures. Why is it always high noon? Tradition, I suppose. Since the sun is at its highest in the sky, everything's brightly lit and there aren't many shadows, so that's good for gunfighting. Makes sense. Plus, you can go have your duel on your lunch break.
That's true.
I lost track of the story. Can you start over?
It doesn't matter. Like, at all, thing. The fuck do you mean, going? There's the thing together.
What day of the week was this? Monday. Monday, June 17th, 1878. Well, that makes sense. Everyone's always a bit grumpy on a Monday. Uh-huh. They should make the weekend Sunday Monday instead. Then you could spend Monday relaxing instead of having to go to work. But then, whatever. Do you have any other questions? Yeah, no, go on with the story. I mean, testimony. Specific time? High noon? Okay, and what happened next? Well, the next day, they both showed up shortly before noon and squared off about 30 feet from each other. When noon struck, McCready fired, fast enough that Timsbury didn't get his shot off, on account of having his head shot off. It's pretty much the long and short of it. I'm gonna have some more details on that. Go ahead. He fired exactly at noon. Yes, as soon as the church bells started ringing. I fucked up and asked the wrong question.
You fucked up and asked the wrong question.
So McCready fired as soon as the church bells struck noon. Yes, that is what I just said. Have you got a point to make, or are you just stalling for time to think? Objection! God, what the heck? McCready fired at the wrong time. What are you talking about? He fired exactly at noon, with the church bells! There are witnesses. That's right, he fired at clock noon, but the duel was set for high noon. They aren't the same thing. High noon is just when the sun is at its highest point in the sky. Depending on geography and the time of year, it can be hours different from clock noon. McCready fired early, and that makes the duel illegal! What do you say to that, counselor? I've got to hand it to you, Prosecutor Rami. You're a lot better at this than I was giving you credit for. It's a good thought you had there. Just one problem with it. Oh, what's that?
It's literally Ace Attorney!
There's just one problem with it. The autopsy report was outdated.
We've got a new one. Alright, what's the problem?
Oh, what's that? I already thought it. Take that! Yeah! What the heck is this? I did my homework when I was preparing for that trial. My legal homework, since at the time I expected there to be an actual trial, not a gunfight. What you're holding there is a nautical almanac for the year 1878. There are bookmarks if you'd like to do the math yourself, but if you look up solar noon, aka high noon, for June the 18th, and make the adjustment for Reno's longitude, what do you think you get? You have got to be kidding me. That's right, Mr. Prosecutor. 12 o'clock p.m. precisely. No! Well, damn. Nice try, though. I mean that sincerely. That's all my ammo. I can't think of any other way to disprove McCready's innocence. As far as I can see, it was a fair duel. Yep, and that's me with the guilt of an innocent man's death on my hands. An innocent man's death. Sure good at repeating things people say. What if he didn't die? Say what now? Well, you didn't actually see the execution, right? Yes, well, I was indisposed, you might say, being dead and all. So you don't actually know whether or not it happened. Oh, come on! Look, I appreciate the effort, but you're barking at the moon.
Oh boy.
Let me ask you something. Alright, go ahead. Was the trial right after the duel? The 19th? Ha! No. I don't know what Reno's like now, but it didn't have a proper courthouse then. You can't try a murder charge in the sheriff's front parlor. McCready sat in jail for a couple weeks and they transported him to Frisco. Well, with one thing and another, the trial didn't start until July 25th. So much for the right to a speedy trial. The wheels grind slow. Alright. When was the execution? Well, we held the trial by combat on the 26th, and that was a Friday. They don't execute prisoners on the weekends, so presumably it would have been the following Monday, the 29th. In the morning? What with setting up the gallows and letting a crowd gather, they usually happen in the afternoon. Round 3, typically. What can you tell me about McCready? He was a gunfighter, through and through. By that I mean he was an adrenaline addict, and dueling was his needle of choice. Hell, if you told me he had evidence that he cheated at poker with the specific intent of baiting people into challenging him to duels, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. He was a sly one. Her expression softens and she sighs. I make him sound like a real devil. That's not fair. He was smart and charming and could have been a good man if he'd chosen an entirely different life for himself. Anything else? I recall he had a real good head for numbers. Told me he never forgot a date and every man he ever killed. He remembered to pour a beer on their grave on their birthday. Well, that's nice. A nicer birthday present would have been not having killed them in the first place, of course. Yep. Why'd he evoke in trial by combat? I was mighty surprised, let me tell you. The only thing I can figure is it was his damn fool sense of gunfighter's pride or something. Like that was the only form of justice he was willing to submit himself to. Alright. Oh, jeez. Alright, let's open up that almanac for a minute. Look up a date. July... It was what, the 25th?
26th,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh.
25th, 26th.
No,
Or
it was
both.
29th.
No.
Let's see. Wow, wait a minute. According to this, there was a total eclipse of the sun that day, centered right over the Western Territories and with its totality at 2:47 p.m. That's a hell of a thing.
Huh. Interesting.
I really wish the dog would shut the fuck up.
Oh.
I'm sorry, we're trying to record here.
I mean, I
Dogs will
usually
be
hear the bark.
dogs.
I actually heard it this time.
Like, we're trying to record and she's barking at thin air!
Go to number 3, obviously, at this point.
I looked up July 29th in your almanac and get this. fucking interrupted me with another goddamn bark. There was a total eclipse of the sun that day. What? Now you're just messing with me. No, look for yourself. Totality at 2:47 p.m., right over the Western Territories. Well, that's quite a thing, but I don't see how that affects... Wait, unless you're suggesting... Right, it was the perfect opportunity for McCready to escape. That's absurd! Absurd like a fox! You said yourself that McCready was really good at remembering dates. He could have read about the eclipse at any time, and stored that knowledge away for future use. Like to give himself an advantage in a duel or something. Alright, that's reasonable as far as goes, but McCready couldn't have worked the eclipse into the escape plan, because he didn't have any say over the court schedule. You said, well, with one thing and another, the trial didn't start until July 25th. McCready could have caused any number of those delays himself, by faking illness in prison, or messing with the horses on the ride to Frisco, or anything. This could explain the trial by combat. You mean there ended up being too much delay, so if a regular trial went on too long and he was found guilty, he'd have missed the escape. Exactly! Whereas if he called for trial by combat, everything would be resolved one way or the other in only one more day. Maybe you'd win, that'd be fine, but if you lost, he could use his escape plan. I have to admit, this is pretty compelling, but it's all maybes and what ifs. Yeah, maybe it happened. Maybe McCready was rescued by leprechauns. Oh man, are there leprechauns in Frisco? You need some kind of hard evidence before this is any more than just a fun story, is what I mean.
Interesting.
Alright, we'll be back.
Are you gonna have to find him?
Well, let's go to the library first. I'm going to fucking... Alright, let's see. Ah, the Frisco Newsinator. The eclipse, various accidents and spectacles that occurred because most people weren't expecting it. Most notably, all 3 men scheduled to be hanged on the 29th escaped into the confusion, and only 2 of them were recaptured. Unfortunately, their names aren't given.
Keep looking.
No, let's keep looking.
Husband of famous inventor missing? Huh. Interesting. Nope. Damn it. And executed criminals aren't given gravestones with their names on them, so you can't just go looking around Frisco Cemetery to find out. Listen, Matthew, I really appreciate what you're trying to do, but at this point, you would have to actually find McCready himself to prove he wasn't executed due to my failure. Well, I guess that's what I'll do then! Alright, back to Dirtwater. Maybe Lloyd knows something. Hey, Lloyd. Ever heard of a fella named McCready? McCready? Nope, don't ring a bell. Would have been about 17 years ago. Heck, I got a long memory, but not that long. I only started working here 6 or 7 years ago anyhow. What about the guest register? We only keep those for the last couple of years. Only place I know of that might have records as far back as what you need would be the post office.
Ugh.
Alright.
Okay.
Maybe the post office has something. I'm trying to find a guy named McCready. There's a possibility he might pass through here about 17 years ago. Pass through? We don't stamp passports here. Yeah, If he stayed for a while, I might have a forwarding address. Can you check?
Ooh.
Alright, then books could use a dusting anyways. 1 sec. 17 years. Around about 78 then? 76, 77, 78. Maron, Mableston, McMurphy, McCready. Got a Matt McCready. That the one? That's him. No foreign address, but you could ask at his old place. Just out to the northwest of here. Let me see your map. Oh yeah, looks like you already got it here.
House.
Desert House. That's the one. Thanks.
Neat. Let's go.
M. McCready, stuck to his guns. You dig until your shovel hits a wooden coffin and haul the lid open. Skeleton blinks at you. Well, it doesn't, but anyway. Howdy. Howdy. Are you Guilty McCready? Well now, ain't heard that nickname in... what year is it? 1895. 17 years! Nah, tell a lie. There was that one time 8 years ago. Say McCready escaped the gallows during an eclipse? Well, now since the statute of limitations has expired, I might as well fess up. Yeah, that was me. Real sweet plan, too. Apart from the one little hitch, went off as smooth as silk. Even worked in a little misdirection and lead the law of them other two fellas instead of me. Serves them right, too. They was real murderers, not like me. I never killed a man except in a fair fight. Except for that one little hitch you mentioned. You miscalculated how long to delay the trial, so in order not to miss the eclipse, you called for a trial by combat. Oh, well, yep, that's the truth of it. You're blaming me for Miss Wainwright's death, I suppose. Why didn't you just trust her? She would've gotten you declared innocent. She had a real good head on her shoulders, sure. So did that prosecutor fella. I didn't rate the odds better than 50-50. Not good enough. And anyway, the trial by combat was part of her job. She should have been ready. That stinks! She trusted you! She's a ghost now because she feels guilty about losing that trial. I spent ages trying to convince her you weren't innocent. She backed you every step of the way despite the fact that you got her killed. And you don't even care? Hell, you bite your tongue, Sonny. You don't know me. Don't care? I did what I felt I had to do to stay alive. And I felt damn guilty about what happened to Miss Wainwright. But I ain't taking all the blame for it, no sir. She'll tell you herself she should have been better prepared, just like she told me that day, apologizing with her last breath. I gave up gunfighting for her. Gave up the only thing I lived for. That's how I felt about it. You gave up gunfighting? Weren't easy, but I did. Bought this house, bought this land, raised some chickens, and had a little vegetable garden. Place gone to hell since I died. That's a shame. Anyways, I never fired my pistol again. Not even at a damn fence post. It's not what it says on your grave. Oh. Read again. That's what the fella what killed me having a little ironic joke, I reckon. Someone killed you? You're only the second person to track me down. First one was 9 years after the trial. Vic Timsbury's brother, hunting for revenge. What happened? He challenged me to a duel.
To the most dangerous prey
Jesus
of them
fucking
all,
Christ!
man.
Well, now we have a new guest on. Alright then, hi LQ.
He challenged me to a
We're
duel,
recording.
and I told him I ain't doing that no more. He asked again, and I said
so
no.
tired.
And he hollered at me, and I took my pistol out of the closet and threw it at his feet so he could see how the cylinder was all rusted shut. And he cocked his gun and asked me one last time, and I said no. Last thing I remember is the bang. Jeez. Kinda him to bury me, though. Guess he weren't all bad. Do you want to see Felicity again? I could take you to her ghost. Nah, I reckon I'll just go back to sleep. Ain't right, dead fella walking around. Just tell her sorry for me, alright? Here, you can give her my pocket watch. She'll recognize it. Alright, bye, McCready. So long, fella. Close the coffin and fill the hole back in.
Oh man.
That's fucked up.
That's rough.
Alright.
I'm
That's all
so
really
tired,
good.
but
I don't
not
go down
tired at
around,
the
so I
same
I
time.
had no idea.
That's just tisms, honestly, LQ.
Let's just go ahead
No,
and...
it's not even that. I'm tired of people in general.
Are you ready for this? What now? I found McCready's grave. He wasn't executed. You're 100% certain it's him. Not some other man named McCready? It was him. Here, he gave me his watch to give you. Yes, this is his watch, alright. Thank you. Wait, you said he gave it to you. He's alive? Not exactly. He's a skeleton. We talked for a while. Then he asked me to bury him again so we could go back to sleep. What did he say? He confirmed our guesses. Knew about the eclipse in advance and stalled the trial for his escape plan. Stalled it too long and decided to hedge his bet by calling for the trial by combat. I see. He gave up gunfighting. He what? He bought a little house, raised chickens, never fired his pistol again. In fact, he left it to rust. 9 years later, Timsbury's brother caught up to him and challenged him to a revenge match. McCready refused, repeatedly, so the guy shot him. He said to tell you he was sorry. She looks at you silently for a moment, then looks at the watch. She winds the hands back for a minute and listens as it chimes again. She sighs and shakes her head, then smiles at you. Thank you, Matthew. You'd make a damn fine attorney. She shakes your hand and fades from view as she does so, leaving her attorney's badge in her hand. In your hand. Rest in peace, counselor.
And now we get to go. And you know what that means? More trials!
What do you mean?
Ace attorney.
Oh.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Knock, knock. Yes, who is it? Mrs. Gunn? I'm Matthew Rami. Are you with the Gerst? The Gerst? Are you with the Ghost
Gerst.
Extermination people? Yes, ma'am. Florence Cunningham. Cunningham Ghost Annihilation Services. Matthew is my assistant. I'm your what? Who's the county licensed ghost hunter here? Me or you? Should be me! I've dealt with these guys a lot better than you would've. I guess. I do feel significantly less haunted. Did you get rid of all the ghosts? We sure did, ma'am. Actually, my scanner says there's still one. Shh! Yes, ma'am, all ghosts accounted for. Well, that's splendid. Come right on in. You knew she was a ghost all along? I had my suspicions. You must be more in tune with all this narrative stuff than I am. Yeah, get used to it.
Used to it.
Alright.
Time to get to the source of all this, I guess. Oh, neat.
Someone's
Free
calling
stick.
me.
Bring. Oh, bitch. Bring.
Hello, Miss
Ow, my
Gunn.
arm.
Hello. Matthew, was it? Thank you so much for getting rid of all those ghosts for me. Yeah, about that. Turns out there's one left. Oh dear. Well, I'll need you to take care of it before I can pay you. Mrs. Gunn, I've got some bad news for you. Oh, what's that? It's you. You're a ghost, ma'am. Well, I'll be.
Oh.
When did that happen, I wonder? My condolences. Why, thank you. You're very kind. You know, this does explain
How
some
do you
things.
not remember when you died?
Like what? Well, I haven't had any appetite for months. Nearly a year, in fact. They keep sending food up from the kitchen in the dumbwaiter, but I've been just been dropping it out the window and sending the empty plates back so the chef won't have her feelings hurt. There's also the fact that you're, well, translucent. Yes, I thought it was just cataracts. Mrs. Gunn, this prompts a question, you know. Oh? What's that? Why are you a ghost? I'm sure I don't know. You're the expert, perhaps you can tell me. Actually, that's me, I'm the expert. Do you have some kind of unfinished business? Something that's tying you to this place? Well, now that you mention it, yes, I suppose I do. Mind telling me about it? My entire family disappeared a few years ago. My husband and 3 daughters. Oh, geez, I saw the rooms, I didn't know they were actually missing.
Oh dear.
Guess they just assumed they were out of town or something. Sheriff suspected they'd been kidnapped for ransom. No one ever made any demands. They just vanished. I never found out what happened. I always thought they were taken away by ghosts. Why'd you think that? I've always felt guilty about how many people have been killed by my invention. The belt buckle? The gun. Oh, right. I used to worry their ghosts would come back to haunt me. When I built this house, I had an electrical anti-ghost field installed in the walls of this room so they couldn't get in. No way! Awesome! Wait, doesn't that affect you? Well, I'm sure it would if I attempted to walk through the wall, but it never occurred to me to try. Aha. After Dan and girls disappeared, I became so sure that ghosts had gotten them that I locked myself in here. After donating the rest of the house to the Historical Society so there would be someone to look after the place, now I feel rather silly about the whole thing. Silly? I mean, ghosts do exist, obviously. Well, yes, but now that I'm a ghost myself, I can sense the presence of other ghosts. And they only just arrived in this house yesterday or the day before. That was when I called for an exterminator. You know, I didn't even question how I knew they were here. But I don't think there have been any ghosts here before then. Why did they all show up yesterday? Couldn't say. They all seemed very angry and confused. Since they couldn't get in here, they gave up and started just wandering around the house. Gave up quite easily, actually. Maybe because you were already a ghost yourself. Well, Miss Gunn, what are we gonna do with you? What do you mean? You did contact me for 13 ghosts, ma'am. You're a 13th. Oh, yes, obviously, I could simply renegotiate the number with you, but perhaps you should go ahead and exorcise me or whatever you do. I'd rather find a more peaceful solution. A peaceful solution? What do you mean? Well, we can also release you from your ghostitude by solving the problem that's keeping you here. In your case, I guess that means finding out what happened to your family. Oh, well, I would be very grateful if you could. I assume they're dead, and to be honest, I think I've gotten used to that fact. But I surely would like to know what actually happened. I'll see what I can do. Where the frick? Where is the attic? It's somewhere here. Isn't it in Mr. Gunn's room? Yeah, it's in the billiards room.
Apologies that I'm not talking. I'm having dinner.
Alright, can someone else do this guy's voice? My throat's starting to hurt.
JB, you got it?
Hey, who the heck are you?
I'm Matthew Rami, but since I'm not the guy who's apparently hiding out in Miss Gunn's attic, I feel like you ought to be the one answering that question.
What? Who am I? Well, that's just a freaking typical. I'm Chet Bullet, damn it.
Am I supposed to have heard that name before?
Wait, damn, I should have. This guy's invention would have been nothing about mine.
Wait, let me guess. You invented the bullet. Phew, thought for sure you were gonna say belt buckle again. Oh shoot, now I want to change my guess.
You damn right I'm in the bullet. But I was gonna say, so did I get it right? Hell no.
You're a bit too close to the mic, buddy.
Fuck you.
I can't understand a word he's saying.
Fuck you, ass motherfucker.
Sounds like you've got an axe to grind.
Not for much longer.
Aw, jeez. Yeah, looks like we found the bad guy. Okay, Chet, go ahead and tell us the details of your whole nefarious plan.
I don't care much for your tone. Why should I tell you anything?
Well, if you don't want to take credit for whatever your genius plan is, I'm fine to let you languish in obscurity.
Well, too late for you to stop me anyway, so I suppose it won't hurt to tell you.
Certainly not as much as not telling me would.
When Mrs. Burns dies, control of the company and patents passes to me. I'm no murderer, and you. I like to keep my hands clean. But for there might be some other people who would have had a bone to pick with her, considering their manner of death.
You summoned all these ghosts?
That's right. All I took was some basic seance equipment, wired it up to the house belfry for implication. A stop for a mechanical genius like me.
But seance gear summons ghosts related to the summoner. That's the whole point of a medium. A person who knows how to direct the summoning on someone else's behalf. So you get to talk to your own grandma instead of the summoners. You don't seem like the medium type to me. More like a small. That does explain something I've been wondering about.
Oh?
Didn't make any sense for all the ghosts here to be haunting Mrs. Gunn, because some of them weren't killed by guns, but they were all killed by bullets.
Naturally, I anticipated there would be a couple of those. That's why I rigged this room with the anti-ghost field, which I cleverly boosted so the ghost couldn't even sense me up here.
So your plan was to summon a bunch of angry ghosts who would initially be looking for you, but would haunt Mrs. Gunn instead when they couldn't find you?
Correct. Or once they find her dead, Gun Industries will be all mine.
Well, I hate to be the bearer of good news, but Mrs. Gunn is dead. On the bright side, she's been dead for a year, so you pretty much wasted your time.
What, really? I'm rich! Now I just need to get out of here without all those ghosts spotting me.
Yeah, the ghosts are gone too, so you're pretty much in the clear.
Wonderful, the anti-ghost field is pretty effective, but we're starting to make the back part of my brain itch.
He flips a switch on an electrical device, and you suddenly become aware of the absence of an extremely low-frequency hum right on the edge of your hearing. Something else I want to ask you about.
Let's go away.
What happened to Mrs. Gunn's family?
Oh, them? They've been out of the picture for years. I had a rumor that Dan got killed by desperados and buried in a shallow grave out the backside of nowhere. But of course, I wouldn't actually know anything about that. Lucky for me, since I couldn't have an heir to the company with him around, or their daughters.
You son of a...
Relax, the girls are fine. I'm not a monster.
I'm pretty sure you're a monster.
There's a weird little island kingdom still on the other side of the ocean. Apparently, it's some kind of bizarre temporal field that keeps anyone from entering or leaving. Can't even find the place if you don't know how. Fortunately, I know a guy who knows how, so I gave the girls 3 free tickets to sleepaway camp. Wasn't that nice of me?
You're an absolute bastard.
Oh, that hurts my feelings. Fortunately, I'm about to have a whole lot of money to console myself with.
Why, you... Hold on. We should talk to Mrs. Gunn first before you tear this ass a new hole.
Well, I thought you said she was dead.
Depending on what she says, you might be too!
Feck. Right, so the women are in the kingdom game, essentially.
Hi, Mrs. Gunn. Hello again. You managed to find anything out? Elt? I said elt. Yeah, I have good news and bad
Elt.
news. Go on, I'm ready.
Help.
Chet Bullet had your husband killed and your daughters kidnapped, so he'd be the sole inheritor of your company when you died. He's also the reason all the ghosts were here. That son of a... Should've suspected something when he suddenly started being so ingratiating back then. And when he wrote off desperados on his expense account. I'd write him out of my will, but I suppose it's too late. That's rather galling. What's the good news? He says your daughters are safe. They're just on a magical island somewhere that nobody can get to. That's not exactly comforting, but at this point I'll take it. Plainly, if he'd wanted to kill them, he'd have just done so. Wait, you spoke to him personally? Yeah, he didn't know you were already dead, so he's been hiding in your attic the last couple days, waiting for the ghosts to kill you. What do you want me to do with him? I'll leave it up to you. I'm not in a state to make any reasoned judgment. In any case, you've answered my question, and I can feel myself moving on already. Thank you for all your help. With a sad wave, Mrs. Gunn fades from view. Then, almost as an afterthought, the lock on her desk drawer pops open. Inside, you find a check written out to Cunningham Ghost Annihilation Services, which Flo snags with a cha-ching, and a blueprint. We could use that blueprint. But let's not use it yet.
Why not?
There's still one more person we gotta deal with.
Are you gonna kill him with the gun?
Oh, we ain't killing him with the gun.
Oh, you're gonna do worse,
We
are
ain't
you?
killing him with the gun, we're killing him with a bullet.
Right behind this guy, we can ring these bells. And try to make a guess on what we have to ring it in. Boo!
Oh my god. Those do.
As the eerie sounds of the bells fades away, ethereal outlines begin to appear around you and resolve, one at a time, into familiar spirits. Monsieur Laudest, and then the lady who was running the Boo and Breakfast, and the librarian.
Oh no!
You know, you really didn't get very many of their names. Maybe you should be better about introducing yourself to people. Anyway, you're soon surrounded by a small crowd of ghosts, with Miss Gunn being the last to arrive. This is the bell tower in my house. Matthew? What's happened? Yeah, nice to see you again, but what's up, counselor? I suppose you're all wondering why I've summoned you here today. I did just ask you that, yes. Well, I've come into some information that I think you all might be interested in. This won't take long, will it? I need to get back to the afterlife. What's the hurry? They got an all-you-can-eat buffet, with every kind of meat, in nugget form! Oh my gosh. You unholster your pistol and slowly put it against your temple. Can't get there that way, you dummy! Rats. You put the gun away again. Anyway, let me explain. Felicity, how'd you feel when you got here? Originally, I mean. Well, I remember being very angry, wanted revenge for my death, but the feeling went away pretty quickly, and I couldn't remember why I felt like that. I'm not the vengeful type. Doesn't even really make sense in your case. Yes, exactly. I never bore any ill will toward the prosecutor that shot me. Was it basically the same for the rest of you? Just like that, yes. Myself as well. Me too! Thought so. Well, here's the deal. You were all summoned for the explicit purpose of taking revenge on Mrs. Gunn here. Attendez, I was not killed by Le Gun. I wasn't either. Yeah, some of you weren't. The summoning happened based on your connection to the summoner himself, Chet Bullet, the inventor of the bullet. But he was hiding with anti-ghost technology, and assumed that enough of your deaths would be gun-related that you'd turn your attention to Mrs. Gunn instead. Well, that's just dirty pool. And I should know, considering I got shot for playing dirty pool. Thing is, he didn't know that Mrs. Gunn was already a ghost. So with nobody to take revenge on, you all just reverted to your regular state of mind. Huh. Well, I appreciate the info, but was it really necessary to call us all back just to tell us that? What I really wanted to tell you is that Chet Bullet has turned off his anti-ghost field. He's over there, at the other end of the attic. Now, I'm not gonna make any noise about how he's ultimately responsible for all of your deaths, because that would both be crazy and also belittle the actual circumstances of your deaths. But Chet Bullet murdered Mrs. Gunn's husband, kidnapped her daughters, and attempted to use you all to kill Mrs. Gunn herself. So if y'all are interested in a little frontier justice, 13's a pretty good number for a posse. Ghosts all turn to look at each other, and their eyes begin to glow red. The hunter is first to leave the circle, closely followed by the poacher. Soon they've all left except for Felicity Wainwright and Mrs. Gunn. Mrs. Gunn looks hesitant for a moment, then seems to make up her mind. She gives you a stern nod, then follows the others. You turn away and soon hear a man screaming, but the sound quickly decreases in volume, as though he were being pulled a great distance away. Then it's gone entirely. I figured you wouldn't be into it, Felicity. Yeah, despite everything, I still believe in the rule of law. Didn't see you trying to stop him, though. Nope. No, you certainly didn't. Well, I won't keep you any longer. Happy trails, Counselor. You too, Counselor. She fades away with a wink. All's well that ends well.
And thanks for playing this game of Ace Attorney. Wait.
Well, that's it. You reckon that your careful recon of the situation has brought some true reckoning to Gun Manor. Congratulations on getting the best ending. Feel free to wander around the grounds and enjoy the scenery. Maybe wrap up some loose ends. Otherwise, you're pretty much done here.
Oh, looks like we're out. Are we gonna actually go back to deal with the other guy too now? Back at the other place or no?
I don't know if we have time.
Well, if you give him a crown, you can easily just finish.
Yeah, but I don't know if I want to show off the actual thing, you know? Actually, you know what I could do? I could give him a crown here, and I could make a bonus episode showing off what he does if you don't.
I mean, you could.
Sounds like a good idea to me. How about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, if you're like that,
It's your
don't
video.
know him. And giving him a piece of that, I feel like giving him a crown would be ideal here.
Who the heck are you? I'm Emperor Norton. I'm in charge of this city, and you can't build any train tracks here without my permission. An Emperor? Where's your crown then? As it happens, I lost my dang crown. Fool thing didn't fit right anyway. But without it, I can't issue any official permits, and that means no rails for you. Unless, of course, you were to give me a new crown. A properly fitting one.
Which one will you give him?
I've got this, silver crown. Huh, funny shape for a crown. Seems like real silver, though. Fits pretty nice, too. Alright, fine. You've got yourself a deal. Welcome to Frisco. Great, thanks. Turn around for a second so I can use your back to sign this permit. And done! Movie theater up the street has the final cutscene whenever you're ready. Hooray!
Fourth wall break!
And now it's the final cutscene.
Now
Reward
playing...
for all your hard work.
Looks like somebody on that train got a job as the projectionist. Would you like to watch this movie? It's free, because movies have only recently been invented and nobody has figured out that they can charge for them yet.
Let's see, what the fuck is the final thing?
Some folks say endings don't matter. But other folks, they like to know how things turn out. Consequences of their actions, like.
Oh, Chibi died.
Oh, that's I pressed the wrong button.
With the trains running again, Frisco thrived. People came from all over to seek their fortunes. But thanks to you, they didn't have to do it while on fire because some cow attacked their wagon. With his wacky turnip crown, Emperor Norton served an example of profound and abiding weirdness to the citizenry of Frisco.
Weirdness.
It became a mecca for comedians and comedy writers and comedians who played musical instruments as part of a comedy act. This makes so much sense. The idea of city life didn't appeal to Susie much. After you and she parted ways, she moved down the peninsula ways and settled a Cowsbane farm. Still fighting the good fight, in her way.
Nice.
Thanks to you, Gun Manor reopened and delighted tourists for centuries! The residual positive psychic energy created by the ghosts you helped leaked into the local water supply. In the decades to come, the businesses that sprang up near the manor were characterized by their environmentally friendly policies and charitable giving.
Business boomed rather quickly.
After she finished getting the bakery boys up and running, Louise moved to Frisco and opened her own shop, specializing in artisanal breads and pies.
Oh, that's cute.
It would only be bread if we let the goblin live.
Yeah.
Thanks to your assistance, Hobart Buppert got the photography bug. Or should we say the photography owl. Anyway, he opened an art gallery so the citizens of Frisco would never again have to suffer from the inability to see pictures of owl skeletons whenever they wanted.
Look, your mic's cutting out like
Your
crazy.
audio is so bad for me.
It's Discord.
Kurtz left the Kurtz left the fort and set up shop in Frisco. His cult fitness group skyrocketed in popularity. The growth was entirely due to word of mouth.
Group.
The growth was entirely due to word of mouth, because the first rule of Kurtz Fit is that you cannot stop talking about Kurtz Fit.
Honestly, that sounds like a dreadful life. Only able to
I would
talk
just
about one
say
thing
fuck
and
it,
one
I
thing
do.
only.
The cultists you
Lord.
rescued eventually joined a different cult, but the new one's quite a bit safer than the old one, since it's mostly about annoying people on the street instead of unearthing ancient evil destructors. Yay! Woo! Oh shit, I almost dropped my damn controller.
Low.
Everyone gets flowers.
The performers you sent to Dirtwater formed the greatest band in the history of music. The perfect union of percussion, strings, and technology. They immediately secured their place in the cultural history of Loathing. Their songs were innovative, their stage presence was spectacular, and the liner notes on their albums were extremely clever and interesting. They called themselves the Aristocrats.
The Aristocrats.
Buffalo Bill retired from the killin' trade and made a killin' opening up a restaurant in Frisco.
Huh?
What the fuck?
What is he making?
Buffalo, wild wings.
Wild wings.
Oh my god.
You solved all of Redwood's problems! With the increase in morale and civic resources, they were able to clear the weeds from the road, fix the well, and the broken hitching post. There was even enough left over to give the mayor's office a new coat of paint, refresh the facade on the Buttery Biscuit, and add a second story to the bunkhouse. They even managed to get that horse into rehab.
Oh my god.
Olive Garden and Cactus Bill lived happily ever after. A wandering band of goblins found that El Vibrato weather machine you unearthed and formed a cult around it. Due to the increased rainfall, both Olive's garden and her marriage were extremely prolific.
I love that her name is literally Olive Garden.
Chuck continued to run his blood and breakfast without incident, accident, scandal, or allegation for many years. I call bullshit.
Same here.
You won 4 of the reenactment scenarios at Fort Memoriam. They still talk about you.
Aw.
Remember when that Matthew fella came through here? Yeah, he was really, really good at this game. With your help, Roy Bean's Jelly Bean Museum became the talk of the town. Well, first they had to build a town nearby, but once they did, hooey!
Low.
Dirtwater became, relatively speaking, a thriving metropolis. Thanks to your efforts as a commerce ambassador and all-around helpful stranger, the once sleepy town became a shining oasis in a barren land. Every man, woman, and child in the town knew your name. They even put up a little plaque with your name on it in your old room in the Jewel.
Nice.
As for you, after your adventure, you settled in Frisco and bought a very long, very narrow house. You filled it with souvenirs of your exploits and started an antique hat rack collection. When you left home, you told Rufus you wanted to help people. Over the course of your adventure, you helped 78 people. You weren't whistling Dixie when you declared your intentions. If you had been Catholic, they definitely would have sainted you if you had asked. But you wouldn't have asked, because you wouldn't want to be any trouble.
Truth.
In 1906, all the remaining cows in the West were simultaneously activated by some kind of signal from hell. They thundered east, forming a gigantic, single-minded herd. Fortunately, since you managed to trap Duke Bovicus on this side of the ground, and cleanse yourself of your bovine blood taint, the army of cows had nobody to lead them. They thundered east in a chaotic mass.
Oh shit.
The disorganized herd never even made it to a human
Oh
settlement.
shit.
Thanks to your cleverness, the world is not destroyed 420 years later. On the contrary, it
Nice.
remains undestroyed for millennia. Future generations don't know that they should thank you, but they definitely should.
I like to eat kids.
Thank you for playing.
Nice.
Low.
And with that, we're starting to reach our time. Going
And
to
the end of the game. That's the end of the game, essentially.
talk about going to the buzzer. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this, you want to see more, leave a like, share us with your friends, leave a comment, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss another one of these videos. Thank you all so much for
Yeah, check our
watching.
other channels too.
Catch you in the bonus episode.
We'll see you whenever.
Bye.
Thank you all
Yeah,
so much
bye.
for watching. I will see you all next time.